I've got 15 minutes, so I'm going to go fairly quickly because I want to try and pack a lot in. And really what I want to talk about is titled Beyond Search, but really I want to talk about how we are looking at search differently and how we are leveraging some new technologies that we are attaching to search. And looking at things differently, I saw this slide recently and saw a presentation, so I thought I'd share it. And on the face of it, here are three bats who are hanging out or getting ready to go to bed. But if you look at things differently, they're actually three badass bats who are at a cocktail party. So if you turn things around, then you can actually see things in a different way. Let's do some background first. If you look at any given enterprise today, most of them are looking at structured data, looking at analytics, business intelligence, and that structured data really only represents a fraction of what they actually have. And so we see a lot of hidden value in any organization. And that hidden value lives in the unstructured data that is in that organization. And 80% of the content that is in any given organization is unstructured. And by that, we mean everything from documents that might be on your hard drive all the way through to audio and video that's getting used in knowledge management and other applications more and more. So that's really where we focus. Now, Jay mentioned I've been in the enterprise search space a long time, and when we first started, we were doing document search, which eventually led to enterprise search. And, you know, I don't think anybody in this room will be surprised to hear me say that results were and are mixed around enterprise search. We often hear, and we used to say some of our best prospects were people who'd say, our search sucks, why can't you make it work like Google? So that's kind of been the history. But Google actually reset the bar for how people think about search many years ago, right? Everybody wants their search internally, as one example, to make it work like Google. And really, that's what we have been doing for many, many years. So as Jane mentioned, I started Search Technologies in 2005. And for the longest time, we have been helping people get the most out of originally enterprise search. So we're building applications such as knowledge management, such as intranet portals, customer support portals, e-commerce search, any manner of search application that you could find. But over the years that we were independent, and even now, more so now, we're seeing that technology is changing, and it's not just search that is applicable when you're building applications, even in the KM space. We've seen a lot of change in that technology landscape, and that's what's really exciting, and that's what allows us to think about search differently. So when we think about beyond search, we're thinking about applying not just your average enterprise search technology like Elasticsearch or Cinequa or some of the others that you've seen at this show today, but we're looking now at applying search combined with natural language processing, machine learning, knowledge graphs, which are becoming more and more important, and also computer vision. So these technologies are ever present in our engagements today, not just the enterprise search platform. So what exactly does that mean? Well, it means the same thing. People are still saying, make it work like Google. The problem is, for us and for people who are trying to implement technologies, is Google's not the same. If you look at Google 10 years ago and you look at Google today, voice search is probably is increasing rapidly as the preferred method of entering a query. When you enter a query, you're not just looking for a list of blue links and results, you're looking for the answer. That answer comes in the form of a card at the side, but it requires a knowledge graph, it requires machine learning, and it requires natural language processing. So we, as an organization, are trying to press on and keep up with Google for the enterprise customers that we support. So, although this might be a new concept to some of you, this combination of technologies like search plus those other technologies, which we refer to as AI technologies when you combine them, extremely powerful, but they are out there already. And I'll just give you a couple of examples. Probably people in this room today use the voice assistant. Well, that's search. that's natural language processing and it's machine learning. If you came here in a rideshare, Lyft or Uber, again, those applications are using those technologies, natural language processing, machine learning, and search to be able to power those. So in our daily lives, all of these things have come together already. But the big question, I guess, is it happening in the enterprise, or how can we use it in the enterprise? So what I wanted to do was really just share a couple of quick examples of some of our customers that are leveraging these technologies. And we've grown with this one particular customer. Many years ago, we started working with a large recruitment customer, and since then, we have applied this same approach to others as well, not just recruitment companies. So the recruitment company's job is to take a job and match it to a resume and put that person to work and collect the commission for having found that candidate. Well, the old way was, let's list, in this example, all the Java programmers, let's look at the CVs, and that's done by typing in a query. We're going to then compare those resumes to the job descriptions, and we were doing that pretty much manually. We're going to make calls to vet the candidate. We're then going to set a list of candidates to the hiring company, and eventually they're going to say, well, we don't like any of these, so let's start again. So that was a very sort of time-consuming process that we were faced with, and we had to try and evolve. So the new way and the better way is, of course, search is still important, but we've increased the relevancy of the search. So people are still going to want to type in keywords. But over time, we started to layer on things like navigation and GIS systems so they could actually see where the candidates lived. They could draw a polygon and say, I want the candidates from this region, and execute a search using that. So that was an improvement on the old keyword system. Eventually, we started to look at those other technologies that we're talking about, machine learning and natural language processing. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to understand the job, and we wanted to understand the candidate. And so today, and it's been in production for a long time, we are able to take a job, analyze it, understand it, and then match it to the right resume. So this is a search and match capability that isn't exclusive to the recruitment industry, but is very, very powerful in the recruitment industry. So now, recruiters come in, they're already presented with the top 5 candidates that they want to then go and talk to. And if any of you are recruiters or know recruiters, you know they're much better at talking than they are at searching. So it's been a big improvement for them. So this has been a really successful application in a number of areas. And in this one particular case, they had a 6% increase in the fill rate. They were able to reduce the time to fill that job by 30%, and they're spending 20% less money on job boards, which is saving them money. So the results for them were in the millions of dollars in the first year of having used what is, beyond search. Another example, and the thing is that, before I finish on that, the thing is that this doesn't look like a search application to people. It's just, I come in and here are the candidates. So that's the key thing, is search is now in the background powering some very powerful features and functions that are not quite the traditional search. We're doing this now inside of Accenture. You can imagine that Accenture has, with 480,000 people, has a huge challenge to match people to the right jobs as customers are one. And so we're now starting to do this here. Another customer that we're working with had a problem that's very different, but used exactly the same technologies. They wanted to reduce the amount they were spending on internal storage inside the organization. They wanted to move things to cloud or glacial storage. And so we came in and built an application that used search, machine learning, and natural language processing to look through all the documents and to analyze them and start making decisions about where documents should go. And I have a short video that is kind of illustrative of this use case that we're now starting to implement in other customers too.
Large enterprises are swimming in data. And as more data is collected, storage costs can grow exponentially to exceed millions of dollars. In fact, businesses can add terabytes of data to their servers every day. So it's easy to see how this all adds up. And over time, content can become redundant, stale, and outdated. Introducing Storage Optimization Analytics, Accenture's unique solution for reducing storage costs. Automate the classification and migration of data to less expensive cloud storage, while employing file-level traceability and real-time ROI tracking, leveraging search-based software applications. The solution provides IT departments, CIOs, and content owners with greater visibility into their enterprise storage systems, and the ability to make more informed decisions about what data should be moved or deleted. In just a few clicks, data owners can access a dashboard view of their data footprint, enabling them to quickly remove unneeded data in accordance with all compliance and retention requirements. Manage data more efficiently, reduce storage costs, and start saving your enterprise millions with Storage Optimization Analytics from Accenture. Brought to you by the Search and Content Analytics practice of Accenture Applied Intelligence.
So that's not your average search application, but it's still using search. It's using machine learning and NLP. What we're doing is looking at the documents and saying, hey, this document's the same as this one, or it's substantially similar, and then start to move those documents with rules and governance to the right places. And they've saved now 30%, which represents millions of dollars in cost savings for them. So just illustrates how we're building applications that don't look like traditional search. So really what we're trying to do now is build smarter search-based applications. We're looking at, of course, we're going to build the intranet and the corporate portal and the knowledge management solution so that people get the results that they want when they're searching those, but we're also looking at leveraging the same technologies elsewhere. So what's different is that instead of just finding and presenting documents to people, we're finding them and then we're understanding them. We're now able to understand these documents. And once we understand those documents, we can do something else with them. We can either match them to a resume, we can remove that document and put it somewhere else, and there's a whole host of use cases. That same company is using the technology to start finding IP that is owned by a subsidiary that they're now trying to sell off. So that's the kind of thing that we can do. So just to summarize, I want to make a couple of points here before I run out of time. Search and AI, which in my definition, because I feel that if somebody says AI, they have to define it. Search plus AI, which is natural language processing, machine learning, is really powerful and it's everywhere. You see it in your daily lives and we should see it more and more in our applications. So point number 2 is that unstructured data is really untapped. We're doing a lot with structured data, but in my opinion, not enough with unstructured data because it's hard. But we now have technologies that can actually leverage that unstructured data to get you insights that you didn't have before. So from my group's perspective, which focuses on nothing but these technologies, we feel like enterprises like yourselves should be looking for opportunities to deploy these, get some of that untrapped value, and we would certainly love to work with you and help you to do that. So thank you for sharing time over your lunch with me. Hope you found that useful.